Hello there, Internet. Zachary Shade here, and in 2019, I'm going to do Doug Benson's challenge from his Doug Loves Movies podcast, hashtag 365 movies in 365 days. And basically what that is, as it sounds, I'm going to attempt to watch 365 movies, one for each day of the year, and each week I will review the 7 movies that I had watched that week. So,
Hi, I'm the Cynical Media Troll. I've watched a couple of movies he watched too.
yeah, he did. I don't know where he came from, but...
Heaven.
The first movie that we watched,
Yes.
right after the balls dropped
Yes, we watched it right after the balls dropped.
on New Year's Day, was The Raid 2 Redemption, which is a sequel to 2011's The Raid. I don't know why I'm doing a movie man voice.
I don't know, because we're talking about movies.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the first movie we watched. It is a sequel to a movie where there's just a bunch of punching and kicking and some stabbing and stuff like that. And the second movie is more of the same. Even if you're not interested in martial arts movies, I highly recommend both. The first movie, I know that I'm supposed to be reviewing the second one, but is just guys performing a raid. They're police and they go into a building and they punch drug people to death. And the second one actually adds in a lot more of a plot, has a little bit bigger of a budget. So for me, I actually enjoy it more, especially one of the final scenes in the kitchen is probably the best fight scene that I've ever seen in a movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I love this movie. It's less raidy than The Raid, but it doesn't need to be. And it's violent, really violent. I like that. And the story wasn't terrible, even though it had nothing to do with like another group of police officers raiding.
Yeah, it mainly focused on the main character from the first movie, but honestly, I also love this movie. I highly recommend it. I give it a 9 out of 10, personally.
I'd give it an 8 out of 10 just only because of length. It's a very long movie. It does go by very well, but it's also jarring when you're expecting The Raid 2 to be a raid.
Yeah.
At any point in the movie.
Which it is not.
It's still a great movie. Go see it.
So then, number 2 we watched was a Netflix movie. I don't know if it was a Netflix original or not, but it was called Buster's Malheart.
Oh, yeah.
It had Rami Malek. I'm probably saying his name wrong.
The iRobot
Which,
guy.
yes. No, not iRobot. Stop doing that, Mr. Robot.
He was in iRobot,
No,
too.
he wasn't. He's not Shia LaBeouf.
He was the robot that Will Smith was chasing, I'm almost certain.
That's actually possible.
Could be.
So Buster's Malheart was a movie that had 3 separate timelines happening sort of simultaneously, all with Rami Malek. One where it's definitely reality, one where it seems to be reality but it's the future, and another where it's a dream land. And there's like metaphors, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was very artsy fartsy though. This was actually my second time watching it. Your first time watching it.
Yeah, I liked it and I hated it. It's very artsy fartsy, as said, but I don't know if it's just also too dumb for how intelligent it thinks it is. Especially with the ending of the film. I mean, you can make your own determination. For me, it's kind of like, yeah, that's all we got for an ending. Everyone will be like, oh, that was...
Yeah, it's just a guy, and he's working third shift as a hotel concierge, and he maybe is going crazy. It's also got DJ Qualls in it.
Yeah, he's
randomly.
very good. He's like a Hunter S. Thompson meets Alex Jones type, and it's interesting.
But yeah, overall, I think that it just sort of farts around and attempts to be too. You got to search for the deeper meaning, and.
As opposed to walk with any meaning away with it at all, you know?
Yeah, it just seems like it's too, I hate using the word, but pretentious for like its own good.
Agreed.
So I give it a 6 out of 10 though. I think it's slightly above, like, I just don't give a shit about it at all, like I did for like Venom. Like that's a good example of a 5 out of 10. I don't remember that movie at all, and I saw it in the theater. I wasn't on my phone or anything. It just in one ear out the other. So that's what a 5 out of 10 is for me. Which
I agree with your Venom review.
Quick side note. So most of these movies are that I'm gonna watch are gonna be above a 5 out of 10 for at least the first part, because I'm gonna only watch things I'm interested in to begin with. But yeah, I give Buster's Malheart a 6 out of 10. I think it's slightly above average. I guess it's worth watching. I don't know if you enjoy sort of a meandering movie that doesn't really have an ending particularly.
Yeah.
If that's what you want to watch it.
I'd say 6 out of 10 too. The acting's good. The movie gets you to think, especially from the Mr. Robot guy actor, or Freddie Mercury, or whatever he is now. He's good in the movie, so is DJ Qualls, and, you know, it kind of makes you actually sort of think about life and how escaping the norms is an option there, but it's a scary one maybe you shouldn't take. Or maybe you should, I don't know. It's a weird movie, but 6 out of 10. Maybe you'll like it.
Yeah.
Movie number 3 that we watched was The Informant!
Yeah, I've recommended this movie highly to you.
Yeah.
What'd you
for,
think?
For 9 years.
Something like
I did
that.
not realize it was that old. I thought it was like 4 years old.
However long Matt Damon was in prison is how long I've been recommending it.
Yeah. I think that I hadn't watched it because of Steven Soderbergh, and I was just like, on him at the time, and now I've
Yeah,
seen some
okay.
more of his movies, which we'll get to in a minute too, but...
Yeah, we're...
Yeah, The Informant, Matt Damon, he is a man. He works for an agriculture company, right?
yes.
And they're doing like price fixing shit.
Price fixing and kind of doing corn syrup substitutes and things of that nature.
Yeah, and so he ends up being an informant to the FBI, but he's also an idiot the entire time. And,
A chronic liar as well. I don't know if that's...
yeah, and he gets
Is
buried
that
in
like
his
spoiler
own
if I
lies
say
and
that?
everything.
I don't think that's a spoiler, is it?
No.
No,
It's
he-
pretty much like the plot of the movie.
He lies a lot and he thinks he's the next James Bond when all he's doing is just informing to the FBI and ratting out his really, really rich friends and what they're doing and potentially screwing himself over, possibly.
But yeah, I thought that it was good. Very yellow.
Yes. And dry.
It's Steven Soderbergh. Yeah, it was like dry humor,
Yes.
but it was pretty funny.
And I enjoy dry humor, so I'll give my review. I'd give it an 8 out of 10 because it doesn't treat me like I'm stupid, and it's just a good movie. I like it.
At the time that I watched it, which maybe I appreciate Soderbergh a little bit more now, but I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
I thought it was well above average. It was good.
Yeah.
I would recommend it, but I didn't think that it was like anything great.
I thought it was great, but I can understand, not meeting that bar.
Yeah.
Go see it.
So then, speaking of Soderbergh,
Yes.
the 4th movie we watched was Unsane,
Yeah.
which was Soderbergh's first horror thriller
Yep.
film.
All shot on an Apple iPhone.
Yes.
Product placement.
Which made the aspect ratio of it weird.
But fitting.
Considering the whole movie was about paranoia and such, it really... The
Captures the
atmosphere
Yeah.
was very well captured. It makes you uneasy the entire movie. And having the 4:3, or not quite 4:3, but aspect ratio with the black bars on the side, like makes it
Yeah.
feel like confined.
Yeah.
So it's sort of annoying at first, but like I understand the choice, and it actually did work very well.
Yeah, I loved just how even when it's just a single focus on an actor or anything, it kind of like just gives you this depth of field that's very closed in on the actor but pulled away from everything else, which kind of adds into the whole feeling of dread and insecurity and all these other things.
Hey, watch me be professional.
Delicious. But no, I loved this movie. If it counts for 2018, this would probably be my second or third favorite movie of the year. But since we saw it this year, unfortunately, I'd give it a 9 out of 10. It has probably one of the best endings, or at least wrapping things up kind of films out there for a horror movie, which is always the hardest thing. It's just ending. That's the toughest thing. And this movie does a damn good job of not only completely throwing out your expectations, but ending on a perfect note.
Yeah, and I agree too. 9 out of 10. I thought that it was absolutely great. I went in with decently high expectations, even though I sort of didn't want to, and it lived up to them and even more. I thought it was great. I didn't watch many movies until 2018, but
Me neither.
if I had, I would think that definitely it was at the top.
It's better than Avengers Infinity War.
Yeah. but
I
I'm not a
honestly
comic
think
book fan, so that's not
yeah.
hard to beat for me.
I am, and I still like Unsane more than that.
Yeah, in Unsane, I definitely recommend unless you have like really bad anxiety problems, in which case it'll fuck with you really hard. But otherwise, I think that it's a great movie.
Yeah, check it out.
After that, we watched your favorite movie, The Killing of a Sacred Deer.
I guess I'll describe the movie.
Yeah, go ahead.
Colin Farrell is a heart surgeon who has a weird relationship with one of his former son's patients who he happened to do heart surgery on, I think it was, and he ended up passing. So the friend, or the son of the person's father, ends up putting a curse on Colin Farrell and the rest of his family. And essentially all of them start losing their body, their lower, like, they can't move, they
They
can't...
lose their ability to use their legs, yes.
Yeah, their legs, they soon can't eat. And it has some of the worst dialogue I've heard in the film in quite some time. It has some of the most stale acting, intentionally so, I've seen in ages. It gives a run for its money to The Room for, like, just, wow, this is how they're talking. And the ending annoyed the living piss out of me. So I'm just gonna get my review out of the way. 3 out of 10. Go see it.
Yeah, the acting and dialogue is very wooden on purpose. I think that it was a comedy, even though it was based on a Greek tragedy, and they really didn't like update the Greek tragedy, even though it was set in modern times. It's
Did they
still
have a gun that he played Ring Around the Rosie?
That's what I'm saying. It was set in modern times, but the story was still like exactly how it was in ancient times. So it has this weird disconnect that's just awkward. And the dialogue, the first time through, I was just like, "What in the absolute hell am I watching?"
Oh, that's
and
what
then
I
it was
was.
over, and I was like, "What the fuck did I just watch?" But then, like thinking back on it, it was kind of funny. And watching it a second time, yeah, I was laughing a lot.
Yeah, I was too, but I was also just more pissed off the whole way through. Nothing, and it's not like if you change my expectations, you know, then I'll warm up to you. I knew where everything was going, and then just once the ending happened, I was like, oh, that's what we were building to. That was it.
I think the ending is
Good.
hilarious. I'm
Oh,
not
it
gonna
is
spoil
hilarious.
it,
Yeah, and I won't either. But if I was in a movie theater, I would have just like punched the closest dog near me if someone had a dog inside the theater.
but yeah. So my first time through, I gave it a what the hell out of 10. Second time through now, I say 7 out of 10. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I would not recommend it to most people.
Yeah. And I like a lot of artsy fartsy movies, but this wasn't for me. It was for him though.
Yeah, it's very unique, and
Yeah.
it's like I can't even think of anything like it. To like, if you liked X, you might like this, but it's just so dry and wooden and weird that like, if you liked Tim and Eric, maybe you'd like it.
There's a
It's
little-
just got that awkward, bizarre silences and
At
whatnot.
times I felt like it was like Royal Tenenbaums, but I still like Royal Tenenbaums a lot. Where it's like I think the dialogue's intentionally like sad in that film, but made to be funny. And this movie, it's intelligent sad, made to be funny, but it sounds like people are on volume while they're talking, like Valium.
And
Excuse me.
there's also just like my favorite line early on in the movie is just like, yeah, our daughter, she had her first period, she's playing piano, like just matter of fact delivering weird lines like that. So,
Telling
it's not
his son
sad
he
at all, it's just
masturbated
strange
his
and
father.
absurdist. Yeah, that
mean-
was another good one too.
Yeah, you're not gonna get many movies last year where Colin Farrell's gonna say I jerked off my father.
And got scared by all the jizz.
Yeah, it was a lot. Because he couldn't jizz a lot himself at a young age.
Yeah, it's a very weird movie. If you want to go watch it, you know, you'll either, I think, feel like me or him. I don't think there's any in between.
Yeah, that's literally what you're going to get. It's either me or him.
So then 6, I watched this alone, but my friend here, Jim, the cynical media boy, is that your name?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Fine.
He also watched it. Bird Box.
Yeah. Oh, wait, so you haven't seen it?
No, I did.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
do you want me to describe or you got this, partner?
Yeah, I mean, if you don't know what Bird Box is, congratulations.
You're the
Don't
one
watch
person.
it because you don't need to, but I mean, everybody knows what it is at this point.
Yeah.
I thought that some of the scenes with the blindfold and everything are like very kind of scary and unnerving, but also it's just like a very safe movie
Yeah.
as far as horror goes.
Fair.
And it's very like family friendly almost. I think Red Letter Media said it best when they called it mom horror.
Yeah, it is mom horror. My whole issue is it's the same thing with like Get Out, but I don't blame Get Out for it as much as I think that was meant to be a PG-13 movie. With this, I think it cheaps out on just like having that gore thing in favor of being able to watch it with your parents and all that. All the kills are very mild and the horror's okay, but I wasn't a fan of the pacing of the movie.
Yeah, and if I just want to be like really shallow about it,
Which I am.
I had said that oh shit, what did I say? Now I don't remember.
It was average?
Yeah, I was like, it's not as good as The Mist, while still sort of being
dear
a
God,
similar
no.
movie.
It's very
For
similar
a lot
to
of
this.
it
Well, you know what it's
in the
really
house.
similar to is The Happening.
Yeah, and that was it. I
Yeah.
said it's not as good as The Mist, and it's not as funny as The Happening.
I think it's the same thing.
That was really my review of it right off the bat, just for being
It
shallow.
doesn't have the humor of The Happening, but like real quick, like the one good thing about The Happening was John Leguizamo, but he already like cuts his wrist and kills himself like 1/3 through the movie. So you're like, crap, we got Mark Wahlberg and Zooey Deschanel for the rest, and you get that hilarious train wreck. With this movie, you get John Malkovich.
Yeah, and so
Which is beautiful.
Does like my review is like I kind of want to give it. I think a 7's too high, and I'm like 6. Yeah, 6 out of 10. That's pretty good. But Sarah Paulson, despite not being in it very long, and John Malkovich especially being in it a lot, their acting and their characters, and Sandra Bullock was a good enough actor. in
Everyone
it,
was a good
actress.
actor, and it's just
So the
yeah.
6.5 out of 10, I think is.
I
like,
just go
fair
a straight
for that.
6 out of 10. I mean, it doesn't exceed and it doesn't go lower. And it doesn't treat you too much like an idiot. It doesn't, like, answer things that the characters wouldn't answer, which is always something in a horror movie I appreciate. And this movie does do that very well. They don't give you the trees are talking. And they said humans kind of suck. No, this movie doesn't treat you stupid in that way. So in that regard, maybe the writing is not the best, but at the same point, the follow-through is good.
Yeah, like sure, I recommend it.
Yeah.
Like if you have an hour and a half to kill and you want to see what it's about, it's nothing to hate.
No, it's aimless.
Bird Box.
Get
Turd Box.
poop box. Kitty litter box.
Ah, that's what I ate for breakfast.
What?
Want to kiss me?
There.
And then number 7, I watched Hell or High Water. It has Chris Pine and Ben Foster as brothers who are robbing banks, and Jeff Bridges as the Texas Ranger that's out to get them. You did not see it.
No. I want to. Real bad.
It's not like a crime movie. It's almost more like a character study, sort of, a little bit. But it's like these two brothers that are kind of like bonding, and they're doing something, and it's almost lighthearted for a good portion of the film.
Okay.
And then towards the end, there's a climax, and some
Yeah.
things happen. And so it's not like a comedy, even though there's very funny moments in it.
So that's
Especially
human funny, I'm assuming? Like human
yeah,
element
and
funny?
Jeff Bridges and his partner, they're really funny throughout just their interactions. Everybody feels really human. It's not necessarily a character study, but like it just feels like something that might have happened
So
and
it's
was
like-
caught on film.
So it's like R.I.P.D., that one with Ryan Reynolds?
No,
and Jeff
the exact
Bridges?
opposite of that.
Oh.
I've never actually seen that, but it looked awful.
It is. It's great. Watch that too.
But yeah, everybody just felt like really human, and so it was charming. It wasn't necessarily like happy and uplifting, but it was charming.
Okay.
That's what I think
Really?
about it. Yeah.
My impression was I just figured it'd be like No Country for Old Men, where it's just constant sadness and
No,
disarray.
not at all.
Okay.
And I thought it was pretty great. I give it an 8 out of 10 because it wasn't quite to that level of like The Raid 2 or Unsane, but I still thought it was great, and I definitely recommend it to pretty much anyone. There's really no reason not to watch it. It's not boring or anything.
It's got
just
Ben Foster.
Yeah,
What more do you need?
yeah.
Seriously.
great.
He makes crap movies.
Go
good.
watch Alpha Dog.
Yeah, you wouldn't even.
Foster was amazing in that.
Yeah, you'd only half like that if he wasn't in that movie. Admit it. Then Justin Timberlake smoking a bong.
Justin Bongberlake. That was dumb.
It was beautiful.
So, week 1, I keep pointing at the camera. I don't know why. That's my new thing. Week 1 is complete. Those are the 7 movies I watched. If you want to watch any, go watch them. I hope that my reviews were interesting, and I will be back next week with another 7 movies.
Maybe I'll be there.
Probably not,
Yeah.
because you haven't already seen like 3 of them that I watched. Bye!